I got to farm with my dad every day. It's a way of life. It's a wonderful way of life. And it's at risk. And it shouldn't be.
The impact of Trump's tariffs is being felt in the heartland.
Soybean farmers here are now suffering economically like they haven't in decades.
Right now we are harvesting soybeans in Marengo, Illinois. My family has been farming since 1846. I'm the 5th generation. We're a grain operation. We grow corn, soybeans. I am a product of the pioneers. It's history. You don't let that go. One of the best memories that I had was just my dad teaching me how to drive a tractor. I got to farm with my dad every day. It was pretty cool. How many people could do that? It's a way of life. It's a wonderful way of life. And it's at risk. And it shouldn't be. It's total bullshit. Human lives are at stake. It's stupid. The whole thing is stupid.
I'm very proud of him. He's done a great job. He's kind. He's very caring. He cares about other people. I didn't really want him to be a farmer. When my husband got sick, he asked if he could take over the farm. He said, "Mom, give me 3 years. Just give me 3 years." So that's what we did, and it's turned into 16 years.
Harvest is usually the best time of the year. It's literally the fruits of your labor. This is the time where we as farmers get to celebrate all of our hard work and that we get paid for our year's worth of work. And unfortunately, this one has a real bitter taste to it because the money is being spent right now in Argentina and being given to billionaires. Farming's hard enough as it is, dealing with Mother Nature, but this year especially is very challenging because of the tariffs that have been put upon us. Our cost of production has increased and our markets have dropped dramatically. And this is really putting a major strain on all farmers right now. If anybody who's not a farmer and they say, well, what do I care about what's happening with farmers? What does that matter? Well, in Illinois, 20% of all jobs revolve around agriculture. And when farmers have money, we spend it, and we spend it on really big high-ticket items like combines or tractors, all of whom are made in major Rust Belt areas. And those are really high-paying, good jobs, and that trickles down to the waitresses who get better tips, to our schools because people have more income, the schools get better funded. And right now, we're just in a major holding pattern because we have no income. The American people are hurting right now. The farmers are hurting right now. There is absolutely no reason for this.
Our grain prices are down. We have tariffs. We have a bumper crop. We don't have people to sell it to. China hasn't bought one of our beans. We don't have those markets anymore because of the tariffs.
I'm looking at the commodity prices, where they're at, which is how I get paid. I'm having a real difficult time trying to give a positive outlook for 2026. When President Obama was in office, we had a wonderful jolt of energy because we had an administration that said, we're going to have advanced biofuels power our country. And then Trump got in there and decided to have his trade wars again and everything else and to roll back all those environmental protections, and the ag economy started to tank. Joe Biden gets in there again. Hey, we're going to have advanced biofuels. We're going to have airline fuel that comes from corn-based ethanol. What happened? Prices went up again, up to an all-time high, right where they were. Trump gets back in there again. We're going to have a trade war, and boom. Prices are tanking again.
President Trump is said to be considering a bailout of at least $10 billion for farmers. That may be too little too late.
We don't want a bailout. We want a market. Bailouts are Band-Aids. We aren't even made whole off of this. That's money that should be going towards senior citizens. That's money that should be going for the Affordable Care Act. That's money that should just be going to regular tax cuts for normal Americans and not billionaires. What he is doing is destroying our markets. And when those markets disappear, we're not going to get them back. We need to have a new policy. We need to have an ag policy that works for farmers again. And we know what works. We have to be able to make a living doing this. The years that we do the best are when our products are in demand. And our products, overwhelmingly for the history of this country, are in demand when we have a strong export market. And we have to keep those markets alive. We have to do that. And this administration isn't doing that. People came to this country for opportunity. Opportunity equal land. And we're giving that up. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Part of the reason why the greatness of this nation is because we take care of people, and there's values of the family farm that need to be upheld. And it's good for America.
One complaint I have to bring to your attention. Some Iowa farmers are frustrated because President Trump is putting $20 billion into Argentina to bail them out. They're worried that the administration is focusing on foreign financial aid at the expense of American farmers. Madam Secretary, what do you say to those Iowa farmers?
Well, I understand the frustration from farm country, but what I will say is, and I live it every day, but what I will say is this: the president's focus remains 100% on America first, on ensuring he has the farmers in America's backs. What I've heard the president say over and over, and Secretary Besson over and over, is that countries like Argentina, for the sake of world peace and world stability, it's important that President Milei is able to retain its leadership position in Argentina, and very, very important that Argentina continues to partner with America. That's way out of my lane. I'm more focused on slinging soybeans and making sure we're selling cotton. But the message to the farmers is the president is here. He sees you. He hears you. We're going to do everything we can to not only make sure you have that bridge from this harvest to next year's planting, but that we again move into that age where they're no longer dependent on government checks. And that's what I'm aiming to do with the president's support.
Slinging soybeans. I didn't know that's what you did with soybeans, but I'll take you.
How is this Argentina rescue package America first? And is this rescue package meant to help President Milei's party in the coming election?
No, it's really meant to help a good financial philosophy where Argentina can, after 20 years of disaster, because it was very successful at one point, and it can be again.
Okay, so Scott, what do you think of that?
Well, I think you've got a bigger problem. I think somebody needs to ask Argentina what they did with the $18 billion that China gave them in 2009 that they haven't paid back yet. So now in 16 years, Argentina's got $38 billion of money to prop their economy up while it does nothing but knife me at home. They filled my orders in China. They will fill the bean meal orders. I mean, in what world is it good to loan people, the worst person in the world, to pay back money to prop up their economy, to protect hedge funds who are deeply immersed in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange? How is this a good deal for me at all?
What if the administration is giving you and other farmers a bailout? Does that help?
Well, I want trade, not aid. I mean, I understand that there's a lot of boys that's painted in the corner and they're not going to survive without it. But bailing out Argentina doesn't help my market. Sending me the tariff money that me and every other taxpayer in this country is paying for. I buy parts and I buy groceries and I'm paying the tariffs exactly like everybody else is. Sending me that money doesn't fix my problem. I mean, to me, currently, all we want to do is throw money everywhere at problems instead of actually sit down and try to fix one. If Argentina fails, okay, they're my second biggest competition. If we're going to make American agriculture great and make it stand on its own 2 feet, then I need my second biggest competitor to fail.
Another $20 billion in aid for Argentina, bringing the total to $40 billion. That's what the Trump administration announced today. Meanwhile, farmers in places like Iowa are getting screwed over because of Argentina. Watch.
A $20 billion currency swap that will stabilize Argentina.
We're using our economic strength to create peace, just as you've done all over the world. And it is much better to form an economic bridge with our allies.
Is upsetting Iowa's farmers.
I'll describe this as more insult than injury right now.
Each year, China buys around 25% of the soybeans grown in the U.S., and the Hawkeye state is the nation's second largest producer. But until the trade dispute is resolved, farmers will need aid to make ends meet. But another reason laymen and other farmers are upset, the president's choice to bail out a soybean competitor.
Not only are we not selling into China, but here's a case where Argentina is at a time when we traditionally own that market.
And that segment aired before today's announcement, and Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that they're going to pull together another $20 billion for Argentina using private banks and global investors. All right, so let's just be completely clear on what's happening, because the American taxpayer bailed out Argentina to the tune of $20 billion. Then Argentina decided to cut its export taxes on soybeans, which made their soybeans cheaper, and then China stopped buying from the American farmer. And now Trump is acting like a global loan officer for Argentina while those farmers are struggling. I know if I was a farmer, I'd be pissed, because Trump can find $40 billion to bail out Argentina during a government shutdown. And now we find out that half of that money is being pulled together through the private sector. If he can do all that for Argentina, why can't he do the same for American farmers? I mean, he said they only need $10 billion. It should be an easy lift.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
Damn, Trump did it.
He said, Mr. Trump, I need to see fruit of love.
You ain't gonna see no fruit from that love. At best, you're gonna see a prune.
And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical.
Boy, racism is expensive as fuck, ain't it?
I farm with paid for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm.
Ice cream on the cake? Motherfucker, that's some shit on the shingle. And that is the perfect storm. You remember that movie where everybody died in that motherfucker? Perfect Storm? That's it right there.
After a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Didn't this same type of shit happen this first go around? Well, you should have knew this was going to be worse. But I bet you'll vote for him again.
The decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
Well, hopefully this will stop the seventh generation of something else. Cut that shit off at goddamn sixth generation. Send that boy to the city. Let him get a job. Meet some other people of a different hue. Maybe even stick his stick in the brown. He'll have a whole new perspective on life.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here. It's everywhere.
Well, I heard UPS hiring.
Trump just bailed out Argentina to the tune of $20 billion. So much for America first. But to all you farmers that voted for Trump, rest assured he's going to bail you out. You lost $30 billion in soy alone, and he wants to give you $10 billion. You figure out that math. This man has screwed America and continues to screw America. But the farmer play, don't worry. That's a play for his Treasury Secretary and his friends, his rich billionaire friends like Rob Citron and others, to go in and buy your distressed farms so that big agribusiness can take them up. That's the future of farming in America. Donald Trump has screwed you, and he's going to continue screwing you over and over again. If you're a rural farmer in this country, if you're anybody that lives in rural America, wake up, pay attention, read. This guy has fucked you over and will continue to do it.
And they're not going to be retaliatory. It's only going to bring in money. It's just free money. We're just going to get our money back, and they're going to put it back into the economy and get us out of debt. And this is a great thing. Everything is great about tariffs. So many people think that there's only an upside to tariffs and there is no downside. It's just perfect. The stock market is the only thing that's going to happen bad amongst tariffs, because guess what? Once the stock market goes down, guess what follows after that? A recession follows. The cost of living continues to increase. People stop spending money. The economy starts to blow up, and it only gets worse from here. So it's crazy, but hey, listen, hopefully we can continue eating, because hopefully our farmers are able to stay in business and continue supplying foods to America. All right. And of course, that's the plan here. We're supposed to keep America alive, but hey, we don't know. Let's just see what these other farmers think about it. Let's check this out.
Because, there were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
I get if your policies are different than the previous administration. I understand that, and going forward, if you want to change that, feel free. That's you're in charge now. You do that. But to take something away that's already been granted just doesn't seem fair. And end up footing the whole bill, which isn't really what we signed up for, or is it going to come through down the road and we're going to get the grant money? We just don't know at this point.
And how does that feel?
Not very good. Kind of cheated, like that's what we signed up for. And now you're saying that's not what.
Now I really wish they would honestly be honest about the whole voting thing, about who they really selected, because overwhelmingly this is a red state. This is a very conservative state. And it's unfortunate that this happened to our farmers, guys, because listen, they support the country. They are truly the backbone of the country. Of course, you got manufacturing, all these other businesses, but how can a country survive if you don't have a farm? And that's the basis of life, all right? So once you have farmers going out of business, what do you have after that? Now I see all these videos talking about JD Vance is going to buy up all the farms, and eventually it'll be a part of the government to truly supply and take care of this portion of our country. But hey, who knows what it's going to be? But hey, let's see what Trump has to say about all this, because hey, he's the guy that they chose to put into office. Maybe he supports the farmers. I don't know. Maybe he's got an ultimate big plan for all this. Let's check it out.
Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the...
No, the hell he doesn't. During the last trade war, we saw an increase in farm bankruptcies. We lost 90% of our soybean sales the week the tariffs went on. And that was just playing FAFO in one country. Now the whole world's tariff. I dropped my phone. Soybeans are currently down 28 today. Corn was leaking lower, about 5 to 7 cents, and now it's looking at like...
Breaking news, Argentina's bailout has now doubled to $40 billion in taxpayer money. And the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, says we're working on a $20 billion facility that will complement our swap line with private banks and sovereign funds that I believe will be more focused on the debt market. Well, Trump says we're helping a great philosophy take over a great country. We want him to succeed. This referring to Javier Milei, who's the current president, and he is running to be reelected. Those 40 billions are contingent to Javier Milei being reelected as a president. Otherwise, Trump said that if he loses, we're not going to be generous with Argentina. Now, critics are calling this very un-American mentality because they're using taxpayer dollars to support Argentina instead of military forces. And let's just remember that bailout in between the US and Argentina started very quickly affecting the soy farmers here in the US, because as soon as the US agreed on that initial $20 billion, Argentina dropped their exportation tax fees on soy, and China started buying from Argentina instead of the US. As always, sources are on the caption. Spread the word and follow for more news.
A $20 billion bailout given to Argentina by the Trump administration is upsetting farmers here in Iowa. Pepper Papura from our news coverage partner KCCI in Des Moines talked with an ag business expert about the deal and why farmers are upset.
A $20 billion currency swap that will stabilize Argentina.
We're using our economic strength to create peace, just as you've done all over the world. And it is much better to form an economic bridge with our allies.
Is upsetting Iowa's farmers.
I'll describe this as more insult than injury right now.
Each year, China buys around 25% of the soybeans grown in the U.S., and the Hawkeye State is the nation's second largest producer. But until the trade dispute is resolved, farmers will need aid to make ends meet. Iowa State economics professor Chad Hart.
There's been discussion of some sort of support coming from the Trump administration. That has been sort of put to the side right now as we deal with the government shutdown.
But farmers say they want trade, not aid. Polk County farmer and president of the Iowa Farmers Union, Aaron Lehman, said in a statement to KCCI, "Our farmers are angry. We're facing a financial crisis because we've been avoiding common sense trade policies and instead have started trade wars with many countries around the world." But another reason Lehman and other farmers are upset, the president's choice to bail out a soybean competitor.
Not only are we not selling into China, but here's a case where Argentina is at a time when we traditionally own that market.
Lehman says this is putting U.S. farmers at risk. How can the current administration justify a bailout for Argentina, continue a trade war with China, and then fail to deliver a promised aid package to U.S. farmers? But the president says making the deal is strategic.
Okay, if Argentina does well, you're going to have others following, and a lot of others are following.
Pepper Papura.
We don't want a bailout. We want a market. Bailouts don't work. Bailouts are Band-Aids. We aren't even made whole off of this. That's money that should be going to towards senior citizens. That's money that should be going for the Affordable Care Act. That's money that should just be going to regular tax cuts for normal Americans and not billionaires. Period. Plain and simple. And what he is doing is destroying our markets. And when those markets disappear, we're not going to get them back.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. So, you know, the news broke this week that the United States was giving a $20 billion bailout to Argentina. Now, a lot of people were upset that it was $20 billion of American tax dollars going to Argentina. Well, folks, don't worry about the $20 billion anymore. The number is so big, I had a hard time saying that. Now it's going to be $40 billion. And Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is the one who said that number. And he said it because we're taking another route instead of, using like military action in a country. So basically what he is saying, he's taking $40 billion of your American taxes, giving it to Argentina to buy their loyalty. Instead of using the military, they'll just give them money. But what you should be upset about is the $40 billion in a time when our federal government is shut down.
So guys, I hope you really watched like the entire clips that we just played in this particular video, because things are becoming hotter and hotter, guys. Another $20 billion bailout for Argentina. I mean, I really felt so bad watching this particular farmer crying, literally crying. Like after the dad passed on, he asked the mother, "Mom, can I farm this particular garden for like 3 years only?" And that 3 years became 16 good years. I mean, the family has been farming for centuries, since 1846 up to now. But it's this year that things are going left. Things are going south. Number one, because of Trump's tariffs. It has really affected them in an extremely negative way. Who is to blame at the end of the day? I don't know. Maybe you can tell us in the comment section below. Because honestly, harvest time is one of the best days, one of the best season of a farmer. But when it comes to harvest season and there is nothing to get from your farm, it's devastating. And that is what is happening to the farmers in America. And it's actually kind of funny or astonishing that it's those who voted for MAGA, for Trump, that are crying the most. During the campaign period, Trump said that he really loves the farmers. He loves them from the bottom of their hearts. I don't know if it's their votes that he only wanted or he was genuine about it. Because now the farmers feel like it was never genuine. That's according to the clips that we're just watching. You can clearly hear the farmers saying, "You know what? We don't need bailouts. We just need trade. We need to be supported. Not bailouts are not helping us at all. Like it's not a long-term solution. It's only a short-term solution. So you better give us markets, a market that we can trade in and actually get to see the fruits of our labor." What's the point of going to the farm and then at the end of the day there is nothing to get? There is no market to sell this produce. Guys, have you seen the soybean farmers? Oh my God, from Arkansas, Iowa, Texas. I really feel so bad that they're going through so much. But who is to blame? Guys, I don't want to talk here and say that I'll be blaming this or that or no. I don't want to say about that. But you can comment down there in the comment section and tell us, what do you think is the problem? Who is the major cause of this particular problem? I know here we are mixed. We have the pro-MAGA, we have those that don't support MAGA. So I don't want to be sided in either way. I just want to say my take here without being biased. I think that will be much better. And guys, Trump has again added $20 billion for Argentina to bail them out. I mean, Argentina is really down. I think Argentina is a second world country. It's only that it's in America. I believe so. I mean, there is no difference between America and Africa. You know, one thing that really brings Africa down is the leaders get the money. Okay, they budget, they have a plan, but execution is where everything comes down. Execution part is the problem. Action part is the problem. They plan well, they budget well, but the money doesn't do what it's meant to do. If it was supposed to go build a road somewhere to help the citizens, it is diverted to the pockets of particular individuals. Sad states of affairs. And I think that is what has happened to Argentinians here, because it's their taxes that have been wasted big time. And now they need to be bailed out. America is bailing them out for the second time. 40 billion now, because they've already added 20 billion. And what has happened to the farmers? They're really feeling bad about all this situation. They really feel bad. We just watched the clips, guys. They really feel extremely bad. Even if I will be one of them, I will have felt bad, because what does make America great again? What does make America fast again mean? It means that if there is a problem, we should be the first one to get out of that problem. We should be the first one to get the solution from our own government, not the last one, because in this case it seems like it's the last one. But again, that's just my take. Don't take it too personal, guys. So thank you so much if you watched the video up to this point. I appreciate your presence. I'll see you in the next one, right?